delay, we can start this session, madam. And the discussion of the writing various research projects, thesis, dissertation, and research papers and articles. Resource person, Professor Niharika Nath, Department of Biological and Chemical Sciences, New York Institute of Technology, USA. Please, madam, you can proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So today we will discuss how to write a review article. I thought about it, and I think it is everybody gets an idea how to write a paper, an original paper in my field, your field, computer science, biological science. That you are constantly getting information. But I think writing a review article is something that master student do also, right? So I think master student do that. So
Do 1 year
possible
dissertation.
to is it possible to be more interactive here? Is there anybody who's willing to talk or to just showcase? Because I'd just like to have some, a little bit of interaction.
Sure. Devojit, you can start. Priti Ranjan.
I just need to hear somebody's voice, if that's possible. Just say
Yes, ma'am.
something. So I have a question. Do you do you in your you are writing a thesis most likely in your second year of masters? Is that so?
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
um so in thesis writing is just not no different than a writing a paper. It's just a longer paper. Um but during your masters you should also be, while you're doing your thesis, you should be able to also do a review article. A review article is really just the first part of your thesis, right? Do you do literature survey in your master's thesis?
No, ma'am. I am still in my first semester.
We are in the first semester, but they have from third and fourth. Third and fourth full 1 year dissertation they have.
Oh
So they
yeah,
need
yeah, right. Actually, I'm sorry. Here, it's become a issue in America. It's completely the opposite. The dissertation is the PhD thesis, and the thesis is really the dissertation. So that's why I'm using the word, beginning to use the word thesis. So your master's dissertation, you will start the work in your second year and you'll finish writing it, correct? So are you, if you're not aware yet, when you are doing the master's thesis, the first part is really literature review. And it's very much similar to writing a review article. So are you able to see my screen a little bit bigger? Is this
Yes, ma'am.
right? I made it as big as I could. And I can't really hear you, but I figured you said yes. So I thought I would talk about how to write a review article. And I'm saying this because when you are writing your master's thesis, not today, but in a year from now, and if the second year students are here, if they know so, then this would be a good time also to improve your review writing skills. So the first part of a master's thesis really is the literature survey. We call it a literature survey, and it's a slightly different. And this should be the time for you to understand how to write a review article. So in your literature survey also you go and you read review articles in order to get an overview of the field, and that is what a review article really is. So if you were to write if you write your master's thesis and you look at it a little bit carefully, mm, um, it's the same concepts. But writing a review article can just tweak that little thesis literature review, and it'll be good for, kind of sometimes like even publication. So review articles that I have seen, some of the bad review articles that I have seen, they're just like little notes, which is a problem. So writing a review article can be on any topic. Is there um, any topic that you find new in in your coursework right now? Like say some new kind of topic that is more cutting edge. Is there any new topic that you would like to mention?
And currently, I am working on again generative adversarial networks.
So is that a fairly recent? Is that fairly recent in its work, or is it fairly recent as a topic and in its productivity? Is it fairly recent?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's this is a the way to know that it is fairly recent. So in your mind, when you have to write on, are you second year? Who just spoke? I don't know.
And I'm first year.
Yes. Oh, you're okay. I'm not able to see who spoke. I thought it was somebody different. So, as a first year student, if you're picking up this topic, all I'm just saying is that while you're doing your literature survey, and if the topic is fairly new, then if it's, I mean, it could be cutting edge, or if it's fairly new, then what you would like to do is you would like to see that in the past 2, 3 years, just in the past 2, 3 years, that hopefully there were maybe 25, at least 25 to, not 35, but at least 25 to 30 relevant primary research already published in it. Primary research means original research, original authentic research that somebody has broken down into methods and results. So in your master's thesis, it's possible that you will write everything from way back from 1970, what happened and not. That's okay. But in a review article writing, if on that topic, at least 25 to 30 papers have already been published, then you have all the material for you, right? Um, so uh, so you already have a lot of material to compile. And if that topic has been going on for 30 years, then it's kind of important that you make sure that in the last 2 years, at least 15 to 20 papers have been on it. Because if nobody's publishing on it, then it may not be worth writing about. It may not be necessary to write it. Um, so make sure that you have that many number of primary research articles. And so when you write your review, you are starting out by, you're putting, a full overview of the field. So you want to introduce it by giving the big broad picture. And the big broad picture in the very first one or two paragraphs, could be, really about what the big concept is. What's the big picture? So I always tell everybody, think macro, and from macro go to micro. So if a big picture on your topic, then for that big picture, you should be able to say what the scenario is for. Why was it? Why is it there? So if it is about simply because our latest technologies are big data, or our latest technology is to get big data, or our latest technology is to have have AI or various types of AI, you can start out with that and say that this is the overview of what it's all about. So you can start like that. So your review should kind of like set the stage straight up. It should not start out with some kind of history. It should start out with some kind of importance to society. So I always say that you should always start and open up your big uh, big first paragraph with some kind of importance to a society, some kind of need for society, okay, if possible, some kind of need for society. And if you start with that, need for society, then it's kind of like it immediately adds a, importance to it. It immediately adds like an importance or a need for it because it is just so important. Okay. So, um, so when you have started out with some with an this over macro overview of this is my area and there's this this is what is what is going on and the field is fairly big, then at that time, up in the beginning, you need to think about, even before you write it, you need to think about when you have looked at all the papers that you wanted, those 20, 30 papers that you have looked at, you need to first think about what is kind of like, not missing, but um, what is something that you want to really kind of like focus on. Focus mean, what do you want to say? You want to summarize everything. Fine, that's fine. You summarize all the relevant kind of papers, but you want to find out if there's any brand new results that gives you a complete fresh line of thought, a complete fresh line of thought that you can propose. So always remember, do not just keep on summarizing paper after paper after paper. Do not keep summarizing paper after paper. Look for and think of what is it that that is not being addressed, or has everybody agrees that this is not, we're not there yet, or everybody agrees that this is something that can come up. Then you can keep in that in mind and just say that this is a gap in your mind. You know that there is a emerging topic that has not been addressed. Keep that in your mind, that emerging topic, that those 20 papers do not really address. Keep that in your mind and wait to give that your personal touch. So what I'm saying is that you are going to you're going to look for like a gap. You're going to look for a gap. You're going to think of a gap. You're going to think of some kind of a new concept. You don't have to create it. It will automatically come. It'll show up. So, so that is something you keep in your mind. That is something you keep in your mind. You don't have to say it right now, but you keep it in your mind, and you start to summarize whatever has been done. So you can keep on summarizing all the papers, look at all the papers, have a backlog of all the, have a, sorry, a back notebook of all the papers, and you can summarize them. So you're summarizing a lot of those work. During this time, you will realize that when you'll realize that after every long paragraph, after every summary, that you can compile some summaries and you can make it into one big long paragraph. So please do not go and do what we used to do when we were your age. Every paper I would summarize, every paper, and then I would end it there. Then another paragraph, I would take another paper and I would summarize it. Try not to do that. When you have done that, keep a note of it. Now you can go back and you can make a long paragraph. You can make a one long paragraph. Okay. You can make one long paragraph or make one long section. Okay. Or it can be one long section that compiles similar observations from a paper. So make one long section that compiles the similar observations or related observations from several papers. So related observations. So all your 10 papers might have some kind of related observations. You kind of put them together one after the other, one after the other, and give reference to it. And after this one long paragraph or one long section of some kind of similarities with 10 papers or 15 papers, you should make a comment or a summary statement. Make a comment in the end or make a summary statement that is kind of like your thought. Very often, that is your original thought. It's a summary statement, but it's your original thought. So it doesn't have to be a opinion. It should not be your opinion yet, but it can be a summary statement that is kind of like you are summarizing that given these conditions, all of these people, some people have achieved this kind of efficacy, some have others received other kind of efficacy, but overall it seemed like every all of these studies show an efficacy at the lowest from 40% to 92%. I'm just making up stuff. So all you're just saying is that you're making a summary statement. Do not end the paragraph and the section without making a solid conclusory comment. So a summary conclusive comment should be there. This is, I would just say that this kind of like ties everything together. If you're saying a conclusion, keep it one sentence short. Do not make a conclusion 10 sentences. So that is what I have seen people make mistakes they do. So you can have these two. You can have sections like this. Make a long paragraph, compile similar observations, and it's an iteration. You do this for other aspects of the study. So you are really breaking down that literature review or the review article into observations from at least 10 papers, then a different section, a different observation from another 10 papers on a different angle, or maybe the same papers, doesn't matter. And you find that you're really compiling things, you're really making it easy for people. Next, I have seen in engineering and computer science students, they're constantly making huge tables for a review article. So do not make a huge table with many columns. It's just not necessary. Do not make a huge table with many columns and and all data in it. Okay. It's just not necessary. Break it down. Break it down and break it down and give in relevant, important things. Just like the section had commonalities, don't make a huge table, but rather make a table that has maximum of 4 to 5, 4 columns at best, maximum 4 to 5 columns. Talk about that. Don't make too many columns and all data in it. It just doesn't add to anything. Okay? So doesn't add to anything, and that's a major problem. Do not make a huge long table with many columns in it and all observations and all info in it. That's a big no-no. Rather, take what you think is relevant, something extremely important, 2 things that are extremely important from your papers, and you can make a table. But a table is very important. Table is very important. You must have a table or 2. All right, 1 to 2 tables for a review article is good. Okay, for your thesis, For your literature review and thesis, you might have a bit more, okay? But keep them, collect them, and later on, remember you can use it for a review article. So let's talk about the gap. The gap, Okay, what was that gap again? So the gap or the important topic. Okay, I hope my computer doesn't turn off because I think this is the time it might just turn off. And if it does, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Um, so gap found in the literature. So some important gap, some technicality, some thought process, some novelty that is waiting to be happening but has not been found there. Gap does not mean a problem. Gap does not mean that it's a negative thing. A gap is something that could be that people are trying to improve further, that people have not been able to address. And maybe they have not been able to address it because it's just too complicated or the right models are not there. So look for that gap that is a gap that is that you find in literature, the gap that you will find in the literature. And you can make that as your compelling angle for your discussion. So make that for your compelling angle for your discussion later on. So keep that, save that. So as you go on and keep explaining, remember that besides some tables, original explanations, original illustrations means diagrams are good. Okay, diagrams that summarize the core concept, the core principles and things from all the papers. Those they are good. So you can create your own diagram. That is your own copyrighted diagram. So and you can showcase any kind of examples also. So just recreate stuff. Remember, visual elements is really good. So your article, your review article, your literature thesis, I keep saying thesis, your dissertation, okay? Your dissertation must have, your dissertation or the paper must have, okay, 1, 2, 3 diagrams. Diagrams means models, flow, or workflow or flow diagram, something like that. Some kind of visual that you will create. It's a concept that you create. So you must create it with a theme. There must be a theme. Create it with a theme. Diagrams are the best. They will last you. If you ever publish it, people will appreciate it. People will like it. They will reuse it. They will refer it. The only way a good review article happens is when it has a diagram that you created. uh, and that has not just three elements, but at least 4 or 5 elements in it that tie something together, that tie a core theme together. And then in the diagram, if any unmet unmet concept or any any discrepancy that is not being explained, discrepancy not explained, uh, put a question mark. Put a box with a question mark there. Put a box with a question mark in it. Okay. So this will be this. This is your um, concept model. Okay. This is your concept model. And you should do that all the time for any review article. You must create a model of what you think that happened, what is going on, and then have a box with a question mark that you think is a gap. Okay. And so with a question mark, this is your concept model and your question and your question. and you're highlighting a big gap that remains. So when you are putting together all these research findings from all other papers, their primary articles and all the research papers, you know, remember to say what those experiments, what their stuff failed at. You should say that. You should not highlight what they did not fail at. And you, of course, you're always writing what they succeeded in and how it is similar to others. So remember to compare and contrast in those long paragraphs or somewhere in another paragraph in another location. You must compare and contrast. It should never be these authors et al. Did this, these authors et al. Did this. You cannot list things. You must compare and contrast where they did something different and they did something different. You must be able to say that, and you must be able to put it in one sentence. While they found this, the others found that. Okay, but their parameters were different by a small amount. Okay, so put that up. So those are things you want to be able to say. Remember, a lot of review articles I see from India, in my field, in your field, they're just stating the obvious, stating the obvious. Very boring to read. That should not be it. So you are, of course, you're stating the current field all the time. That is no doubt, but you have to state the future challenges. So you're stating the future challenges, and along with a diagram, okay, along with that diagram above, okay, along with that diagram that I just mentioned, and then you can propose. Then you can propose something that is needed. But when do you do that? And this is the thing about the review article. So, what is needed? Okay, what is a gap? What is needed? What is the gap? This is your last phases. This is your last phases, last phase of the review. This is your last phase of the review. What is needed? Remember, you already put a question mark. You already put a box. So you have to say, well, what is needed? And you have a thought process. Maybe you kind of understand that this is, uh, we are still away and we still need this. So you are saying what is needed, what is the gap? You identified the gap, and you are suggesting what is the gap and what can overcome that gap. So you can suggest when you write a review article, you are putting your 2 cents, you're putting your last little, you're offering, you're just a small writer, but you're offering your thought in a review article. So what can you do to overcome, no, this is not the right way to write it. Hold on. What is the gap and what can be done? Here it goes. What can be done? Um, or what model concept needs to be constructed? I don't know. Could it be constructed or made to overcome? It's a hypothetical. It's like I'm dreaming. It's my hypothetical, thing that I need this. We all need this. And you're just saying that we all need this, but you don't have an idea, but you can offer some idea to overcome, um, to overcome, um, this. So I'm gonna take this out. Then, so you can give ideas. You can give the ideas for the new experiments and the collaborations, if there's any collaborations. You can give the ideas. Okay, they might be right, they might be wrong, but there's no such thing. So this is your last phase of the review because you are giving that thought process. And most importantly, I say, try to coin a new word. Try to coin a new phrase. Try to coin a new word, and you put it in quotes in this last phase. and you just say that this is something that we need, and maybe this is what it can be called, and it could be a new, it should not be a completely new word, but it should be like an old word that can be used. Okay. So this is a message from Karthik. Um, I'll read it up later on. Uh, so, uh, so try to coin a new phrase or a new word. That is what I would just say. What you're trying to do here, this is my favorite part of writing that review article. Okay, putting it in yellow here. You should think of this every day for the rest of your life if you are staying in academics. You should never forget this. Never forget this. Okay, so that gap, you must give ideas, that's for sure. Give your ideas for the new experiment. If you can't think of any ideas, give half an idea and try to coin a new phrase, a new word, and it might stick, and people later on might use that word, and it'll be something that will feel good. When you are a brand new writer, maybe it will not pick, but you will always be there to show off and just say, I wrote this review article and I coined a new phrase in my field. Um, so that would be something interesting. Okay. So the last phase is really, this last phase is, these are really, it's your opinion. Okay. So this last phase is your opinion. This is it. That's how it starts. It's your opinion. It's your opinion, and that's because you're filling in the gap. It's not the gap that you found before. No. It could be any gap that you found along the way. It could be anything that you found along the way. And it should not be very trivial, but it should be something that, that the direction of the paper flew through. Okay, so um, that's what I would just say. That is the brand new thing in the paper. So, and most people don't do that. They will just summarize somebody's work. It'll be so boring, and it'll just end that way. But it'll not end with something new to look for. So the last phase of the review should be exciting. Should be an exciting end, and it shows your passion. It shows your passion. That's how it has to be. It cannot be just it cannot just be a whole summary of anything. So essentially, this kind of like paves the way. This paves the way. This paves the way for new directions, new and emerging, directions or new avenues. Okay. So, what did we say in totality? We said that, you're going to start off with something, a big macro picture, always, because there has to be some context. Okay. And then you've already done the review of it, so many papers, at least 20, 30, or a bit more, 35, 20 to 35 papers. And you do not just go compiling each one. You try to find some common themes. So make about 3 to 4 common themes in all of them. Okay. Let me just write that down here. So, okay, I keep on saying this thing over and over again. Okay, just look for that gap. Okay. Write on, in your review article, let's say it's, for a dissertation thesis, I'll say write the common themes as, 4 to 8 sections, depending on how long you will. So common themes, 4 to 8 sections, and review the papers here. Okay, so compiling the similar sections. So we're just saying that compiling similar sections, do it. Just do not go on just going paper by paper. And so each section now gets a special subheading because it's a common topic. Okay, common theme. So there should be at least 4 to 8 common themes that you have, common topics or themes that you identified. And each of them should end with a comment or a summary conclusive statement. Need not be a brand new opinion, just your original appreciation for what it is or is not. Make tables, but do not make huge tables. One to two tables in every paper is good. It should not have too much information that it's just a meaningless table. Sometimes it needs to be very long and very with many columns, but most of the time you should find something and extract what you want to highlight, which others have not done. So tables are a must. And then in the end, you talk about the gap that you think could be important. You keep that gap in mind and you kind of save it. You kind of save it and you kind of keep saying that this is not yet done or that's not yet found. This is kind of missing. Then you can use everything, all of those concepts together to make a diagram. Make diagram or 1 to 3 diagrams. Some of them could be just basic, models and flow diagrams, but some of them could be an unmet concept. That is your concept model with your question in it. And that could be your favorite diagram. That could be a third diagram. Uh, um, Compare and contrast. This should actually go up when you're writing everything here. Compare and contrast. Where did it go? Here, you have to compare and contrast the findings all together. It's the same thing. I'm saying it over and over. So compare and contrast the findings, and then you end with a bunch of future challenges. Okay, state future challenges. Not just that one thing that you had in mind, but put all the future challenges together and steps needed to do it if you can. But the last phase of the review is somewhere where you have your deep down new opinion, a brand new emerging thing, okay, something that's totally emerging. Um, okay, like a summary of all the future challenges or something like that, all the future scope, and state the future scope. Yeah, challenges and future scope that way. And the diagram is very good. And in the last phase, always throw in some opinion. And the opinion is of something that is required, something that you see emerging. It could be your opinion of something that is emerging in all of this, that when you do the whole review, that this is either a gap or all of these mean, there could be a new theory, it could be your opinion or a new theory. And there's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in putting in that new theory. Tomorrow, if anybody thinks of that kind of a theory, you're the first one who said it. Okay? So no matter how young you are right now, no matter how junior you are right now, if you put it into words and the reviewers kind of like accept it because it's your opinion, and if they think that it's too far-fetched an opinion, they'll tell you. But this is where you could put in a new theory or opinion, and it might just fly. Okay? And so that's all I would just say that you have in this, in such a review article. Um, a review article is something that is really helpful, and it brings up a new. My papers have not been cited so much as my review article has been cited, so it's kind of like really surprising because people take that review article and they just use it for their own paper. And so I found that my review articles are more cited than my original paper. But good, but that's what it is. So I think this applies no matter which your field is. It doesn't matter. It's always the similar. Okay. All right. I will end it here, and um, I can just share this in the chat. I don't know if this is useful for you, but This is what I just feel, okay?